Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's programming session. We are very excited to be live. It is a very beautiful Sunday. Hope you're having a nice and cozy Sunday and are ready to learn a bit of coding. And for some of you who have coded before with Scratch, to learn something new, because today we're going to be coding some music instrument, which I have never done before. So it's going to be very exciting. And maybe I should have started by introducing myself. But my name is Ibtisam, and I work as a cloud engineer at Capgemini, and I am a volunteer at Kodcentrum because I love programming and I love teaching others, especially the kids and youth. So that's what I do. And as you can see today with us, we have two others on the mainstream. And I think it's better if they introduce themselves, and we can start with Sebastian.
Yeah, hi everybody, I'm Sebastian. I am from the Netherlands and I'm living in Sweden. I have been coding for at least 15 years. And well, basically what I do is I make websites. And I really love what I do. And I love it because I can use my mind and my hands to create something out of nothing. And it's, I think, a really, really cool thing to do. So I'm like super excited about it. Even after doing this for 15 years, it's still really, really great fun. And I'm really excited to be here with everybody today.
Great. We are very excited to have you as well. How about you, Carl?
Yep. Hello, my name is Carl. And first of all, super nice to meet you all. I work as a data scientist at Spotify, where I'm also applying programming to solve practical problems and analyze how people use our platform. And yeah, I also love programming and think it would be super fun to attend today.
Yeah, so one of you is a web programmer, someone who designs and creates a website, and the other one is someone who works with data. Is there a lot of difference between those two different things in tech? Because they sound very different, but still in the same branch. So could you maybe, for example, Carl, talk about your role? Like, what do you do that makes it different from web programming?
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's definitely some similarities, but the way I view it is like you can think about it as we're doing some type of private detecting. So we want to see whether there's any trends, whether there's any things we should be aware of, something that might work better or that could be improved. So I think that's what's exciting about it, and that you really you investigate what the data is telling you, and then you try to find like good reasons why that is and continue to investigate.
Yeah. And Sebastian, you said you have been doing this for almost 15 years. I mean, do you get bored sometimes? Does it get boring, or is it always exciting?
No, I think like technology is ever changing. So there is always something new out there to figure out and to fiddle around with. And it has never started to bore me. It's super exciting. Yeah.
Is programming have changed in the last 15 years? Did you have
Oh,
to
yes.
learn programming all over again?
No, not all over again, but there is definitely a difference in technologies and the way that things are done nowadays as to like 15 years ago. I think, sorry?
You say it has become easier or more difficult?
I think more complex, but that makes it also more interesting, actually. So I think it's a good thing.
That's why you never got bored in those 15 years. But it is so nice to have you guys. I just want to ask you one last question before we start coding, because I know the kids are very excited to get started. But if you could program one robot that could help you in your day-to-day life, what kind of robot would you code? For example, I would code a robot that could help me clean my house because I hate cleaning. That would be awesome. What would you, Carl, what would you want to program?
Maybe some program that creates awesome music. I think that would be very, very interesting.
Then you have come to the right place today. You're going to learn how to do that.
Right?
And how about you, Sebastian?
I think I would like to create a robot that makes sure that I drink enough water. So that brings me a glass of water every now and then. reminds me to drink it.
That is very practical, and I hope you create that robots very soon because we all need that. Yeah, so that was enough introduction, I think. These guys will be with us today, either through chat or through live session, and we'll make sure to check up on you. So now we will get started and get coding. So I think, Carl, you were very excited about creating music robots, so you will stay with us and make sure you learn this before the end of today. And and so I can go ahead and share my screen. So I hope you can all see my screen now. So everything that I'm going to be doing today, you can find it in Kodcentrum.se. And once you are here, you are going to click on English and teckenspråktolkat, and then the English one. And here you will find, well, we had it here. Okay, then if it's not here, then you go to kodboken.se. You have skapa music, which means create music in Swedish. And then uppgifter i Scratch, which means exercises in Scratch. And here you have imaginary music, the English version. So we're gonna click on that. And here you can find all the instructions that I'm going to be going through. Now, I don't want you to code with me once I start coding because you are gonna have designated time to do that. So now I want you to focus on me and Carl and look at what we're gonna do. And once we're done talking, in like 20 minutes maybe, we're gonna give you some time, about an hour, to do your own coding. So now focus on us. And first, I wanted to show you the end result of what it's going to look like. And this is a crab piano. And here, it tells you the instructions. Well, the instructions are in Swedish, but it says, try to play the music by using these keyboards. The keys are A, S, D, F, G, H, J, and K. And these keys are lined together, so it makes it much easier to play the music. So I'm gonna click on this. Yeah, so you can create your own music, your own piano using those beautiful crabs. And yeah, so in case you don't follow or you would like to have the text while I'm going through it, you can go here and follow me. But otherwise, you don't need this. You can just focus on what I'm doing, and yeah, and you will get to code your own instrument later. So now I'm going to go ahead and go to the Scratch side. Have you been here before, Carl?
I've tried it once before, but I'm still fairly new to it. So maybe you can show.
Yes. So maybe I can start by introducing Scratch. So Scratch is a tool that you can use to create programs. This is for beginners, so people who are not still comfortable writing code. And instead of writing code, they can just stick together different code blocks to still create the same result that you would have done with a text programming. So this tool is really good. And you can either have an account by clicking on Join Scratch, or you can just go ahead and create your project. You don't need to have an account. But an account makes it easier to share your project once you're done and to save it in case you want to come back to it later and finish coding. But if you don't have an account, you can download your project and save it. And when you want to continue, you can just upload it again. But I have an account, so I'm going to log in with that. And I'm going to click on Create. One thing I would like to mention here is that maybe if you have done Scratch before, the language might be in Swedish or any other language than English. And by clicking on this world tool thingy, you can change to so many languages. But for today, we are going to stick with English. And as you have seen, Carl, I just created this project. I haven't done anything, but there's a cat, a cute cat that comes every time you create a new project. So that is okay, but it doesn't mean you have to use this cat. You can get rid of this cat. But what is this cat? This cat is called Sprite and Scratch program. And this Sprite can be anything from a cat to a ball to an apple to basically anything that is that can be used in Scratch is called a sprite. And this box is where the results are going to be shown. This is the part where all the coding blocks are located. There are different themes. We're going to go through them later. We don't need all of them, but I will introduce them. And here is where we're going to create, let me make this bigger, where we're going to connect the code blocks and create our program. So here we're going to write our program. And once we run it, we see the results up here. So shall we get started, Carl? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do this. So the first thing we're going to do is to get rid of this beautiful cat because I don't want to have a cat in my program. And I just click on this bin sign. And once that is gone, I need to have a new sprite to work with. So I'm going to click on this cat sign. It says choose a sprite because I can choose or create a paint and a new sprite. But I'm going to go with the ready ones. So you can choose between animal, people, fantasy, blah, blah. I'm going to go with the animals because I really like the crabs. So now we have one sprite, and that's all what we need for now. We can have money later on. But the background looks a bit dull, kind of. So I want to make it more spicy, just more fun. So I'm going to choose a background. And I'm going to need your help with that, Carl. Where do you think we should be? Indoors, outdoors, in the space, underwater?
I think outdoors would be nice.
Outdoors.
What do you think?
Outdoors sounds nice. Maybe not in this weather because it's a bit cold. But here we can be anywhere we want. We can be in the pool. We can be in the mountains. Whoa, this is nice. Right? It reflects our real weather down here.
Exactly. And I've never seen crabs in the winter as well.
Yeah, so it's all up to us. The creativity is up to us. So now we have one crab and we have chosen a really nice background. So we can go ahead and start to really code. And as I mentioned before, there's so many themes here. There's for motion that makes the sprites go. There's looks that change the looks of the sprites. There is sound that makes some kind of sounds. Events that waits for some kind of events and like kind of reacts. Control controls what happens in the program and when it happens and etc. Sensing just it listens to some events or it listens to some actions, and after it senses it, it allows us to do different kind of things. Operators, this is usually mathematics. It's for numbers, but it doesn't have to be numbers because sometimes it can be some characters or words. And there are variables and my blocks, which is making a custom block. You might have guessed that we're going to be using sound because since we're making an instrument, but this is for like not the kind of sound that you would use for an instrument because that is music and not just sound in general. So we need another extension for creating music. And once I clicked on that, I hope you saw where I clicked here down there at the bottom to the left side, the blue sign. And I clicked on that. And here you can have for painting, text to speech, so many extensions. But today we're gonna go with the music. And here it says play drum, or you can change the different ones. And this has to do specifically with music. So we can go ahead and start coding. So the first thing we're going to do is to decide on the instrument. So here it says set instrument to piano. So we're going to move that to our coding space. And if you don't want to choose piano, you can create or you can click on the piano, and you can choose guitar, you can choose cello, flute, yeah, anything. Maybe I can go with guitar. So now we have set the instrument to guitar. Shall we try it, Carl, and see if it plays guitar?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, then I'm going to click on this green flag because this is start and this is stop. So when I click on that, nothing happens. Why? Because it doesn't know when to start setting the instrument to guitar. So we need to tell it that I want you to set the instrument to guitar when I click the green flag. And we do that by going to events, because clicking something is an event. And we say when the green flag is clicked, set instrument to guitar. Great, but this just sets the instrument to guitar, but it doesn't play anything. So in order to do that, we need to go back to music, and we need to bring this note that says play note, this one, for this long. And it doesn't have to be this note, it can be whatever. It can be this. I don't know so much about music, so I'm just gonna go with anything. Carl, are you better than me when it comes to music?
I'm not super good either, but I like the E tone, so maybe you can go with that, or that one.
So, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go with this one. And now this note is going to play very quickly. So instead of just having it to be done once, if we want to do it forever, we need to have some kind of loop. And a loop is basically a repetition of something. We say to it, I want you to loop twice, for example, and it's going to repeat 2 times. If we say, I want to loop that loops 100 times, it's going to repeat the action 100 times. And we can have a loop that goes forever, which means it keeps on repeating until we specify and say, okay, now stop. Or we say, when I do something else, I want you to stop. So we can find that statements under control, because this controls our program. And here I can find a loop that says forever. There's a loop that 10 times. It doesn't have to be 10 times. I can change this to 800. And yeah, so these are the 2 loops that we have. So under forever, I want to say play note this for this much, because I want it to listen to this event all the time. So I'm like, oh, okay, am I playing this note? Yeah, okay, then I'm gonna play this note. But now it doesn't play, and like there's no keyboard assigned to this note. So one thing we need to do is to say, okay, I want you to sense something. I want you to sense that one of the keys are being pressed, and then I want you to play this note. So now if you have noticed, when I spoke about this, I said, if one of the keys is being pressed, then I want you to do something. So this is also one way of controlling what's going on in the program. So here you can find that if something, then something. Is this something that you use when you write an actual code, Carl, or is this something specific to Scratch?
I would say we use this all the time. So this is super helpful to know and very easy to make.
Mm-hmm. I used it all the time when I was making different choices. When I was writing a program, I'm like, what if I have 2 alternatives? What am I going to do? How is the computer going to choose? Oh, I can use an if-else statement. If this happens, then do this, or otherwise do something else. And that is this one. If something happens, do this, else, or otherwise do something else. But for today, this one is going to be good enough. So now I want to put this under here instead, and put this whole block under forever, because I wanted to forever to be controlled by this one. This is inside the forever. So now I need to have a statement that says if something is true, then that thing is going to be put here in the deeper orange color or a brown color. So I'm going to go to sensing because we're going to sense if one of the keys are being pressed. So let's see. Oh, here it says if key space is being pressed, and this is exactly the one that we want. And I'm gonna take it out and hover around this one until it starts shining, until the count, until the border starts to shine, and then I'm just gonna let it drop, and it will end up in between here. And now I don't want to use the space key, so I'm going to click on space, and I'm going to change it. So I can use letters, or I can use numbers, and I can use the up, left, and the different arrows. But I'm gonna make it easier for myself, so I'm just gonna choose the middle row in my keyboard, the one that starts with A, S, D, F, G. So I'm going to be using that row so my fingers don't have to move up and down all the time. So I click on A, and I say when A is pressed, then I want you to play this note. So now it really feels like it's something. So I think we should try it, right?
I think so, Abdusam. Let's play it.
So now let's press go and hold our fingers. Oh, it does work. So I'm happy with that. But then I have to, like, it's a bit boring. And the ones that we saw on here, when we played something, their mouths were changing. Let me show you. See, it's as if they were singing with the notes. So I want to do the same thing as well. And I go back here, and the way I do that is by drawing a mouth on this crab. So how I do that is by going to costumes. So you see those three tabs, and I go to the middle one. I click on that one, and you can see that there are different costumes for this crab. The one with the claws closed, and the one with the claws open. So for this one, I can have a closed mouth. So to paint that, I go to the brush, I click on it, and I make sure it's the color that I want. Now it's not purple that I want. Maybe black would be nice. And this is very big, the brush. So I'm going to change the size from 10 to maybe 7. Yeah, 7 sounds good. And then I'm going to paint a smiley face. This looks good. So now we're going to go to the other costume. And instead of having a closed or a smiley face, we're going to have an open mouth, as if it's singing. So I can use the same brush and the color that I want, and make like an oval circle kind of thing. And then I can make this all black. I think it looks good, right?
Yeah, it looks like he or she is singing now.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to paint teeth and tongue and all that, but if you guys want to, it's up to you. So now we go back to our code, and the way we do that is basically by changing tabs, because now we're in the costumes, and instead of costumes, we're gonna go to code. And you can see that our crab has started singing. So we need to change that. I want it, when I press the green flag, I want it to just smile because it's not singing, right? And when when it's singing, or when it's playing in music, I want it to open its mouth. So one way of doing that, or the only way of doing that, is by going to the looks theme. And as I said before, this has everything to do with the looks. So first, I wanted to have a set costume when I start the game, or when I start the program. So I say switch costume to crab B. Let me just go quickly to the costumes, and this is crab A, so the smiley face, and this is crab B, the open mouth. So I go back to my code, and I want to change from crab B to A, when I start singing or when I start the program. So now let's play and see if it works. Good. So now it switched to this costume when I start playing. Or when I start the program. Sorry, it's so similar in Swedish when I start the program. So that's why I'm mixing the words play and play the actual program. So now when I'm singing, I want it to open its mouth. So I say switch costume to crab B. No, I actually want to put it here because I want it to open its mouth and then sing. And once it stops singing, I want it to change back to the smiley face. So I bring the same code block, and instead of B, I want it to go back to A. So let's try this. Now it's just smiling, and I press A. See, when I'm pressing the key, its mouth is open, and when I release it, it's not. So I feel quite happy with this one. What do you think, Carl?
I think it looks super good.
Yes. So now it's a bit boring because we only have one key to press and one crab that's singing. And we don't want this crab to feel very lonely in this cold weather that it's not used to. So maybe we can give it some friends. And the way to do that is one way is by going through the whole process that we went through by choosing a sprite and then creating this code blocks again. But if you want to make it easier for yourself, and if you feel comfortable with Scratch that you don't want to repeat those steps, you can just right-click on this sprite, and it says duplicate. And if I click on duplicate, you can see that I have another crab named crab2, and you can see that it's highlighted with blue, which means it's the one that we're working on. And you can also see that the code blocks have transferred to this, not transferred, have been copied to this sprite. So this one has the code blocks as well, and so does this one, which means all the code that we wrote on this one is now on this one, which means both of them are listening to the key A. So that's one thing that we want to change. So now for crab2, instead of key A, I want to listen to the key next to A, which is S. So I scroll down to S. And when the key S is pressed, I want to play different notes. So instead of 65, I can maybe, yeah, this one sounded good. So I can play 101 instead. And I play it for this long, and it's the same thing. When I start playing this note, it changes its costume to an open mouth, and once it's done, it closes its mouth again. So let's try it. Now I'm pressing S and A, S, A. Yeah, so now basically what we need to do is go ahead and duplicate these maybe to 4 or 5. And I move them. And one thing you have to pay close attention to is that when you are moving a crab from one position to another, you are basically marking it. So you're going to be working on this one. So if you make any changes, the changes are going to be made to the crab that is highlighted by blue. And you can see which crab you're working on or which sprite you're working on by looking at the highlight. So make sure to change these keys when you duplicate the code. Maybe let me do that really quick. Instead of S, the one next to it is D. So I choose D and I choose 71. And for this, I choose F. And instead of 101, I choose 86. So now let's play this and see if it all works. This is really good. I think I'm starting to like it. What do you think, Carl?
I think it rocks. Sounds amazing.
I think so too. And now I feel like the kids are ready to start programming. And let me stop, or let me be there. And I'm going to show you where you're going to need or where you're going to find some help if you need it. And do you still see? Oh, here. So now if I go back to codebookend.se, let me go here. And if I scroll down a little bit, you can see it says we are here, and that is the chat box. So if I click it here and I say, and I click on yes and say, hi, I need help, someone on the chat is going to reply to me and give me the help that I need. And on the chat today, we have some volunteers, which includes me, Sebastian, and Carl. So we're going to be down there and replying to any message or any questions that you have. So if you want to get in contact with us, the chat is the thing that you use. Oh, see, someone is already replying to me. And to get the instructions, I'm just going to show you again where you can find the instructions. You go to codebookend.se and you go to Skapa music, and you go to Uppgifter i Scratch, exercises in Scratch, and you go to Imaginary Music, the English version. So here is the instructions step by step. So if you, for example, forgot how to draw the mouth, you can go and see where did she do it. Okay, this was very long, but it shows you in very, very, very details. So it's very helpful. And yeah, this is basically everything that you're gonna need for now, the instructions and the chat box. And we're gonna come back, I would say, in 30 minutes and check up on you and see how you are progressing. And if you need, or if you have any questions that you were asking on the chat, we might be able to answer them on the live stream again. So until then, I hope you have a nice time coding. If you get stuck, don't hesitate to reach out and contact us. We're here to help you. And yeah, that's it for now. I hope, Carl, you have learned something. And if you get stuck, as I said, you can find help in codebookend.se. And I hope you create your own music, and maybe it will be something that you've wanted to do. So that's it for now, kids. You can get started with your coding, and we will come back and check on you in like 30 minutes. So good luck. Hi, everyone. So, as I promised, we are back after 30 minutes. I hope that was enough time for some of you at least to go through the things that me and Carl did. And Sebastian, even if he wasn't with us on the stream, he did the exercise as well. Was that right, Sebastian? I think you are muted.
My apologies. Yes, I did. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So,
do you think it was difficult or easier to program with Scratch?
it was definitely easier, but it's a really good way to learn, I think. I see a lot of similarities with what you do. It's just more visual, so it's easier to see what you're doing.
Yeah, so Carl said that he uses the if something then, if something then or else statements. Do you use that as well when you program websites?
Oh yes, absolutely. A
So,
lot, like really a lot. Yeah.
So you would say Scratch is a good place to start if someone is interested in becoming a web programmer, for example.
Yeah. I think it's a really, really good way to start. Like I said, I think it's really visual, so it's easy to see what you're doing and what's happening. So it makes it a lot easier to understand. Yeah.
I hope you kids as well find it nice and colorful and joyful to code in Scratch. I wanted to share my screen and show you something. If I can share. I can't share my screen. Okay. So now you can see my screen, right? Is my screen visible? We have to add it. So now you can see the exercise. I just wanted to show you something more that you can do if you are done with the exercise until this far. We are on step 6. So we have created all the keys by duplicating and making sure the keys were different. So if you have done until this part, you can go ahead and do the optional steps, which is to create movements. You can make the sprites move like this, for example. They can move like this, or you can, let me show you what else you can do. You can add background music, so some music that's going to be played all the time, or you can just do different things, and you can find them here after step 7. And one thing that I wanted to show you was how to change the size. So for example, let's say when this one is playing, and I think this is crab 2. And when crab 2 is playing, I want it to increase in size, for example. Let's say maybe 100 is a bit big. Let's start with 80. Let's change all of them to 80. Yeah. So crab 1, I wanted to, here in the looks theme, you can see something that says set size to this %. So when it starts playing, it switches its costume and then becomes bigger. So we can try that by clicking on the green flag. Go, and then this is 8. Oh, and then it becomes big, so I want to change the size back to 80%. And I do that while I'm changing the costume back to smile face. And I say 80% because the normal size was 80 here. So now let's try that again. I click on the green flag, and A. So I can do the same thing for the other crabs as well. That's just something I wanted to show you. It's one of the optional steps, and you can do this, or you can be creative and add background music to whatever you want to do. If you want to change the guitar from guitar to piano, or to some other, to drum for one of the crabs, and the other crab is a guitar, you can do anything you want. So that's basically what I wanted to show you. And once you feel like you are done with your whole program, you can give it a name. I'm going to call mine Guitar by Crabs. And I'm going to click on this orange button that says share so that I can share it with you guys. And I say share. And now it says, oh, congratulations, you shared your project. And I'm like, thank you. And if you go back to the stream, we're going, okay, this is going to be messy. But if you go back to the stream, you're going to see the link of a studio that we have created. And that studio is going to collect all the projects that you guys created during today's session. And you'll be able to see each other's projects. You'll be able to share your project with others. So you click on that link. You copy it. You have to type it, unfortunately, because the link is not available anywhere else. And once you have written it, this is the project or the studio that you will come to. I went ahead and did this before you guys, so I don't bore you by typing it letter by letter. But then you can say, okay, add by URL. You can either copy your URL by here, and then you can come and paste and say add by URL, or you can say browse projects, and you can see all the things that I did on Scratch, and this was today's. And I say done, and here you see my oh, there is someone who already shared the work with us. So you can find the link. We're going to be showing it the entire time. You guys will be coding until we finish today's session. So you will have access to it. And we are so looking forward to seeing what you guys have created. Right, Sebastian? Are you not excited to see all the projects?
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yeah. So we will give you a bit more time. I would say 20 more minutes. 15, 20 more minutes to wrap up everything that you're doing. I feel like most of you are done. But if you want to take up some challenge, you can do it. If you feel like you are done, you can just have a cozy afternoon until everyone is done and we share your projects. So see you guys here in, like 15, 20 minutes. Good luck. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone, and welcome back. We've had some technical difficulties, but now we are rolling again. I'll just need to copy the link. And if Alice, you could send me the link to the studio so I can share with the amazing projects that you guys have shared with us. And some of you were not able to send us your projects, which is a bit sad, but hopefully I can show one of them. Okay, let me start by sharing my screen. And here is the project, the studio. Here is some cool polar bears. I wonder what kind of music they're going to be singing. Wow, and they're walking as well. Wow, this is really cool and very creative. And let's look at the next one. Shibi-san. Sounds a bit like my name, Ibtisam, Shibi-san. But that was not mine, I promise. Okay. This is a bit... Oh, this person used numbers. Wow. This is really cool and very, very, very creative. Wow. No, I really like it. You can make some cool hip hop dances with this one. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I think both of them were really cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I guess someone else had shared their links directly through the chat box because they weren't able to share it. Can I hit that? But now Scratch is having some difficulties. But we really wanted to share that one. Well, there's not much we can do if the technical bits are not working. But I hope you guys have had some fun with us. Carl and Sebastian, did you enjoy it? Did you learn something new from here?
Yeah, it was super much fun. I had really, really, really a lot of fun with Scratch. So I made something myself. I didn't post it, but it was really fun.
Right. You can do that afterwards as well, as long as you have access to the link. So you guys who are not done yet, you can always send your links to us or your projects to us once you are finished. How about you, Carl? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was really cool as well. And I also want to emphasize that it was super easy to make them as well. I'm surprised and amazed of how easy and you can make something really cool out of it.
So now hopefully you'll be able to create your dream robot that can sing you to sleep or sing to you in the background when you're doing some work. But it was really nice to have you guys with us in the live stream, and thank you so much for being here. Today is not really the easiest day to be available. It's a Sunday, but I'm happy that you guys were able to join and learn something from here. And for you guys who were at home and programming, I hope you found it fun, even if some of you couldn't share your projects with us. We understand, and we hope the technique works after this. So have a beautiful Sunday evening, and see you some other time. Thank you for today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.